There we go. All right. So HEWfit. I know other people are going to watch this, so I'm going to kind of talk in broad sense sometimes, but if you have questions, then just let me know, and you can wave me down and or just type a chat thing, whatever it is. So I'm super long-winded sometimes. I'm going to do my best not to be long-winded. If you've done HEWfit before and you've seen some of the things, you probably know what I'm talking about, and I apologize if I'm going to say the same things over and over again. But let's see where to start. So all of us are ready to get back on track. Me, myself, I am probably 3% higher body fat than I need to be in terms of the last time that we did HEWfit, and probably need to lose like 5% body fat, just for me personally. So biggest thing that you guys have to kind of think about, and what I want you to think about, is you guys have to weigh in before Monday, or by Monday, so by the end of the day Monday. And I want you guys to have a physical plan of like what your goal is for the next 4 weeks. And it could be losing weight, it could be gaining muscle, it can be losing body fat percentage. Everybody's body is different, and we're starting at different parts of our journey. So it is completely up to you. Some of us have done meal plans before, some of us have done HEWfit before, some of us have never done this before. So everybody has to handle it a little bit different. So I'm going to go through like detail on what we would like in terms of like to expect from, you know, like what your homework and what your action should be. And then also kind of what to expect and from a food standpoint. The food is obviously the most important thing. Obviously, we all know that eating healthy foods is healthy, but it's just hard to obviously be consistent with all the temptations in life and, you know, alcohol or whatever it is. Everybody has their own vice, and it is what it is. You just have to not be hard on yourself and recognize that, you know, you made a commitment to yourself and publicly at this point to others that you're going to try to do your best to stick to it. Okay. So I've done this talk many times now. I've done it being very aggressive and, you know, stern with people. I've done it to where I'm super laid back and all that kind of stuff. I still don't know what works the best. At the end of the day, the determining factor is whether or not you actually pay attention and you take pride in it and you take it seriously or not. So I know last time we did like a scale of how motivated are you? Are you a 1? Are you a 10? Are you a 6? You know, that kind of stuff. A lot of people always say they're like a 6 or a 7, and then by the 4th week, they don't even weigh in. They're just out. They don't even care anymore. So, but everybody's different. You know, everybody has different personalities, where if I'm like, all right, this is what you eat every single day, then they're going to follow it and listen to it every single day. And other people, the second I say eat this, they question and say, well, I don't like that. Can I eat this? So it's just, you know, again, at the end of the day, it's different personalities, different people, and that's fine. So I'll kind of jump right into kind of like what to expect in terms of like what you can accomplish. Then we'll go into, you know, like the actual process of what you're responsible for. And then we'll go into the meal plan after all of that kind of stuff. Because for some of us, we've all seen the meal plan. We all know what, you know, healthy eating looks like. And you can ask questions, that sort of stuff as well. Any questions just to start? I know that was kind of just an intro. Cool. All right. So kind of what to expect. Like I said, I've done this probably, I don't know, 30 times now in the last 8 years, because we typically do it anywhere from 2 to 4 times per year. So in terms of what you can expect in terms of results, I would say that most people, especially now that we have the body scanner, they look at body fat percentage, which is what I recommend to look at more than anything. And that's basically telling you how much fat relative to your weight is on your body. For females, we're looking at most women, I would say typically are somewhere between 25 and 40% body fat. They say a healthy woman is typically under 33% body fat, just to kind of give you like a gauge. But in terms of like what we can lose within a 4-week period, the most I've ever seen is just over 5%. And that's like 100% crushing it, you know, all that kind of stuff, and not cheating, not anything. So, my goal all the time is to lose at least 3, if not 4% anytime that I do this. And then sometimes we do the whole, I've done it where I bet everybody that they can win their $50 back if you lose more than me and all that kind of thing. And that just helps me hold myself accountable. But I would say anybody can expect to lose anywhere from 2 to 4% body fat, and anywhere from, again, depending on the nature of your body, I would say anywhere from 7 to 15 pounds, just to give you like an idea of like, goals. When I say like you guys should have tangible goals, then that gives you an idea of like, okay, what's a relative number that's not, like I'm not going to lose 40 pounds in 4 weeks, but you want to have some sort of like attainable goal. If you guys ever heard of SMART goals, like in the business world, like specific, measurable, attainable, I'm blanking the R right now, and then time sensitive. So I know we have 4 of them. We have specific, which is either weight or body fat percentage or whatever. We have measurable because that's the measurement. We have attainable, which is kind of what I'm trying to give you right now. Relative, I think relative. And then time sensitive. So SMART goals. So that's kind of like what to expect, what you could accomplish. And again, it boils down to how motivated you are and how willing you are to be strict. October is not really anything crazy unless you're a football person in terms of like events and this and that. So hopefully there's not anything gets in the way. Hopefully there's no hurricanes, because that basically puts everybody out the window and we lose. We've had 2 years that we had hurricanes in the middle of it and everybody binge eats for 3 days, and that's okay. As long as you're not hard on yourself afterwards. So that's kind of what to expect. In terms of like your responsibilities and your homework and all that kind of stuff. I know some of you guys have done this before, just in looking at like who's on screen. And then I think Patty, it's a first time. I know Noelle's first time, that kind of thing. So basically the goal is that we're all committing to each other. We're a smaller group this time. There's only about 26 of us, I think, right now, as of right now, signed up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have one massive team. We're not going to make it to where it's like, multiple teams at one time. So there's good to that and there's bad to that. The biggest downside to it is that sometimes your messages and like some of the stuff can get buried just because there's so many so much like engagement and all that kind of stuff. The good thing is that you might learn something that you wouldn't have learned from if they were on an opposite team of you. So you might learn something new or whatever it might be. You have to figure out what works best for you in terms of your engagement and your personality. Some people can do HEWfit and basically make a self-commitment and not do one thing that I ask them to in terms of like, show me your grocery list and show me your this and do a mile every Monday and do this and that. And they can zero participation and they can do phenomenal just because that's their personality type. And then other people, it's their lifeline is to be on, some of the apps and stuff like that I'm going to kind of go over, and reaching out and that kind of thing. And that's their lifeline. And if they didn't have that, then they wouldn't be successful. So you have to kind of determine hopefully, who you are relative to like that personality type. I'm more of I don't engage as much, and that's why I engage a lot more during HEWfit. But you have to kind of decide. And that's like, I don't get onto people that don't participate as long as they're still executing what they need to be executing. And we know that by the scale. So the biggest thing that I ask everybody to do is to 100% make sure that you weigh in every single Monday morning or Monday afternoon whenever you come to the gym, because it's like looking at your bank account after a bad weekend of eating and drinking. Like, you don't want to look at it if you ate and drank too much, but you do, I use that as a relative term. So you do have to weigh in every single Monday. And you have to weigh in for your first weigh-in by Monday. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a clipboard that is going to be attached to the cubbies that are going to be in a little basket. And all you have to do is write down your weight and your body fat percentage. And then Jamie and I are the 2 coaches that are running this HEWfit. So one of us will audit that on Monday, and you'll basically get a text message depending on like if you crushed it, if you stayed flat, all that kind of stuff. So that's my basic minimum expectation, is weigh in every single week if you don't want to do any of the social media stuff, because everybody's different and I understand it, and I'm not going to force you to do stuff like that. So let's get into kind of like the schematic of like what to expect, what like your responsibilities are, and then we'll get into the food. So responsibilities and like what we ask out of you is that, again, you guys weigh in every single Monday. I ask you to at least give me a grocery list and or a picture of all of your meal prep on Sunday. Everybody's life is different. Some people, Sunday's not Sunday. Sunday's like Wednesday, if they're off like Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it might be. So whatever your Sunday is that you text us a picture of either your grocery list and or your meal prep. If you do both, then awesome. When I say text us, what we're going to do is we're going to have a group me app. So that's an app that basically like lets everybody go into a group, and you just post all of that stuff in there. And then Jamie and I audit that and make sure that you guys are actually following it. So rule number 1 is weigh in on Mondays. Rule number 2 is make sure that you're basically setting yourself up for success. I've said this, I think every HEWfit that I've ever done is that failing to plan is planning to fail. So like your success depends on like how well you plan and all that kind of stuff. If I ask somebody what they're going to eat for dinner and they don't know, odds are that like on a scale of 1 to 10, the quality of that dinner is going to be somewhere below a 6 if you don't know what you're going to eat before you eat it. And it's just, again, as a background for like, I've been doing this for 8 years now. So in terms of training, we've trained thousands of people. I've done weight loss challenges with hundreds, if not thousands of people, you know, that kind of thing. So if you don't know what you're going to eat, then odds are that it's going to be less than a 6 on a scale of quality and all that kind of thing. So that's Sunday is we want to make sure that you guys are preparing yourself, you're prepping meals, you're doing all that kind of stuff. Invest in some Tupperware or reorganize your current Tupperware situation, that sort of thing, just so that you're organized, so that like life is a little bit easier. The more that you're organized and that you're planning, then the easier life is going to get, just because, you know, simplicity wins when it comes down to, you know, a complex world at the end of the day. In terms of extracurriculars, so if you guys have not, which I know some of you did not, you don't have to. It's just a recommendation. There's an app that we're working with called SugarWOD. So sugar, the stuff you're not supposed to have. WOD, like a workout of the day. SugarWOD is an app that lets us basically put all of our workouts into a calendar, and then you guys can just check on it from there, and we can upload YouTube videos and so on and so forth. So if you've already currently downloaded the SugarWOD app, then we've added in your performance tests in for Monday and Wednesday for the entirety of HEWfit. So what we're doing is Monday and Wednesday, you owe an actual performance test that we want to try to show you that the goal is to show you that eating healthy and being regimented in, you know, your health is that it's going to improve your performance in the gym as well. So every Monday, you guys have to run a mile. That's nothing new if you've never done this before, or if you have done this before, but every Monday you have to run a mile. I recommend that you guys do it before your workout, depending, or do it like not adjacent to your workout. So either do it beforehand, don't do it afterwards, or do it like sometime other than when you're working out. So like maybe you work out at 9 a.m. and then at, you know, sometime you get to go and run a mile on your own, you know, that's separate, so that the workout doesn't affect your mile at the end of the day. The Monday mile, super cool. If anybody, I know some of you guys have done it before, but we've literally had people go from like 10-minute miles to 8-minute miles in 4 weeks just because they took pride in it. And it was something that like that small little bit of competitiveness came out of them, and it pushed them to do things that they never thought that they could do. I've never been a great runner, and at one point when we did HEWfit, I ran like a 6:20 mile, which is unheard of, and I couldn't even touch that right now. But so it's one of those things that you guys, every Monday you're going to run a mile. If you guys are on SugarWOD, then it will prompt you every single day that you guys have to run a mile on Monday, and you can track your own results in there. It's set up as a benchmark so that you guys can track it, and then over time, because we're going to run miles in the gym and stuff like that, you can always know like what your best mile is just through the app and that kind of thing. If you don't have the app, that's 100% okay. We're still going to have a clipboard over on the coaches area or on the stands, and then you just have to write it down. And again, that's something that we'll audit, saying like, hey, it's Monday, you guys should be like, you know, Sunday you should have prepped, you shouldn't have drank and had a Sunday fun day. Monday you're running a mile, you're doing your workout of the day, all that kind of stuff. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you guys are going to be doing your second performance test is a more of a speed sprint style performance test. And again, we're doing all of this to where anybody at home can do it as well. But you have to do, the workout is, or the extra workout is, you have to do an 800-meter sprint. So a half a mile sprint. you're getting 3 minutes of rest and recovery, and then you have to do an 800-meter sprint again, and then see what the total time is that takes you. So just basics. If I run a 3.5-minute 800, and then I rest for 3 minutes, I'm at 6.5. And then I go and run a 4-minute because I'm, 30 minutes of exhaustion. Then I'm at 10.5 would be my score. In essence, would be like my time for the day. So the goal in that is to get you guys to where you guys are like, you're focusing on, it's a shorter distance, even though a half a mile is still a decent distance. It's a shorter distance, but we're trying to get you to run it at a very fast pace. So just to give you like basic numbers, if I run an 8-minute mile, I should be able to run at least a 3.5-minute 800. So to think about like the math on that, 8-minute mile, half a mile is obviously 4 minutes if I just divide that by 2. But since it's a shorter distance, we should be running faster because we know that it's half the distance at the other. So I try to run a mile in like 7 minutes right now. My goal in 800 is around 3 minutes. So I try to keep a 6-minute mile pace for my 800, even though there's no way in the world that I'm going to run a 6-minute mile right now. But that's the training aspect of it, is like, all right, I got to pick up the speed because my distance is changing. So I have to increase my intensity because the volume has gone down, in essence. So that's going to be your Wednesday workout every single week. So you'll have 2 repetitive workouts, and one is the Monday mile, should take you less than 10 to 12 minutes. And then the 800 should take you somewhere around 10 to 12 minutes as well. So you guys have to just plan accordingly for the fact that you're going to have to spend that extra, call it 15 minutes of your day prior. And then if you're doing it prior to a workout, you don't want to like sprint an 800 and then have to come in and then go right into the workout. So you might show up a half hour early, whatever it might be. So those are your 2 performance tests. And then Friday is going to be a surprise every single week. It's not going to be something that's like a performance test per se. It's going to be something that's going to be like an additional workout. It could be ab focused. It could be upper body focused. It could be something. But the goal is for you guys to try to not necessarily do something for speed and intensity, but to do something to do volume work. So more reps and just get some, repetitiveness in. So it might be, 200 sit-ups or something like that. Like just so that you guys are putting in volume to get extra work in, that kind of thing. So Monday mile, Wednesday sprinting, and then you guys are going to have Friday's going to be a surprise. When we schedule it all out, it'll be in your, you guys are all on Instagram now, so make sure you smile. Make sure that you guys are checking either Sugar WOD, or we'll post it in the Facebook group, that kind of thing as well. So that in essence are your responsibilities. So the biggest thing, again, these are expectations that I hope that you guys follow, because the more participation, the more that we kind of understand that you're doing all the work, is posting your meal prep on Sundays and or grocery list. Meal prep is better because grocery list just shows me that you have intent, and I can write a lot of things down and not actually do them. So if you post your actual meal plans, then you get extra points. And then you guys have Monday mile, you have Wednesday sprints, Fridays are going to be a surprise. And the goal is for you guys to physically be in the gym, or at least working out at least 5 days a week. I always take at least one rest day during the week, and then obviously try to go through in the weekend and do something active, whether that's if I'm working, Saturday, maybe after the workout or before the workout. I like to do long runs or something like that, but make sure that you're active at least 5 times per week, in addition to the performance tests. Okay. So that's kind of the basics of all of that kind of thing. Are there any questions on like expectations and your responsibilities or anything like that? Dustin, you're listening to all of this so that you can start on Monday? Good. Thumbs up. So that's about it for that. We're going to go into, I'm not going to jump into meal plans and stuff like that yet. I'm going to kind of touch on supplements, because a lot of people always ask about like supplements and that kind of thing as well. There are protein shakes on the meal plan, so I'm going to kind of disregard protein shakes, and we'll go over that afterwards. But supplements are something that like, oh, should I take a thermogenic, or should I take a multivitamin, all that kind of stuff. The entire supplement industry is a very smoke and mirrors industry. So it's hard to vouch for one or the other or anything like that. The most educated thing that I can say in terms of like to try to help your metabolism, and this is just like actual facts and all that kind of stuff, and some of it I'll go into more detail than others, is there's certain things that through a doctor friend of mine, he would recommend. Typically, I think it's 4 things that he always recommends for everybody, just as like a basic health, practice. So his recommendation, and this is again his recommendation, is that everybody should be taking some sort of probiotic. The reason about a probiotic, it's basically really good gut health, so it's bacteria and all that kind of thing, is that most of the standard American diet, which is sad, standard American diet, yeah, is that we eat a lot of chemicals and consume a lot of chemicals that we necessarily we don't need. So your gut health and like all of that is very low quality for a lot of Americans. And gut health, obviously, to process food and have a good metabolism and all that kind of stuff. The better your gut, the better you're going to be able to process everything. So a probiotic is definitely recommended. Vitamin D, which most people don't really know, vitamin D actually helps your metabolism. And most of us don't get enough vitamin D through the sun, even though we live in Florida, because we're super scared of skin cancer and all that kind of thing. So vitamin D is something that we actually recommend that you guys do as a form of like a supplement. Fish oil is a really good one because a lot of us don't get like healthy oils. We get like, unsaturated fats and different like canola and some of the oils that aren't as healthy for you. So taking the fish oil and getting all the omegas and different things like that is super, super beneficial for you. And then just like a basic multivitamin, because most people don't get enough nutrients through their actual food. So taking a multivitamin helps kind of like, get iron and zinc and some of the things that, especially like if you don't eat red meat and all that kind of stuff, that will help you just because you have that supplement coming into it. So I would love to tell you that all supplements are the same, but they're not. If you can ever find a supplement that actually has a lot number on it, then it means it's been tested and that the actual like purity of the ingredients have been tested so that they can vouch for it. Most of them, I would say 98% of them, do not have a lot number on them. So you're basically just kind of going at the assumption that the brand is honest. And that's about it. So I personally, the one that I used to go through the doctor, it's kind of a pain because you have to get an actual, I don't want to say a prescription, but the doctor has to recommend and give you like an actual, like you have to order it through the doctor. But if you guys start with just like any sort of supplement, like a probiotic, you can get a bunch of them. I've done them where they're cold. I've done them when they're not. I've done the liquid ones, all that kind of stuff. I couldn't give you any conclusive evidence as to whether or not one works better than the other. Vitamin D is just super easy. I would just recommend everybody do vitamin D, and it's not expensive by any means. Multivitamins are good, and then fish oils are good. The better the quality, the less you burp up fish oil. So I know that's good. So that's kind of like the supplement. Some people like to do thermogenics and the fat burners and the this and the that and all that kind of thing. I won't say that they don't work, but I can just say that most people take supplements to try to outwork a bad diet, and it never works because you can't outwork a bad diet. So at the end of the day, when I look at supplements and all that kind of thing, gut health is probably one of the most important things that we need to worry about. And gut health comes from having natural foods and not eating a bunch of chemicals and drinking, good water, having probiotics and good bacteria in our system so that our gut can actually function properly. That's why a lot of people do detoxes and cleanses, because it's basically a detox and a cleanse. Like a juice cleanse is basically to kind of like increase your gut health in a very short period of time and kind of like cleanse your body from all the toxins and all that kind of thing. So we almost did an actual juice cleanse as part of HEWfit. If you guys are interested in a juice cleanse, I don't not recommend it. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to do a juice cleanse and kind of do 3 days, not on the HEWfit plan and that kind of thing, if you want to do that, 100% I support it, because it is good for your gut health and all that kind of stuff to give your body kind of a reset. I did a 10-day cleanse 3 months ago, And it was super hard, but really all I did was eat natural foods and then take the supplements that they provided, and it was good. I've never done an actual juice cleanse, so I can't vouch for anything like that. But if you're getting juices and they're whole ingredients and that kind of thing, then you're still getting natural whole ingredients that are going to help your gut. And at the end of the day, that's going to help you kind of hit the reset mode so that your metabolism kind of reacts better to all the food and that kind of thing. So any questions on supplements or any of that kind of stuff, I'll do my best to answer. I'm not the supplement king. I don't know everything about all that kind of stuff, but I have a good, baseline of supplements. And some people love like hydroxycut and all that kind of stuff. So anything? I'm going to take that as a no.
I have a question. What would you recommend for a multivitamin? Like from Sprouts.
They're all very, very similar. Like most multivitamins, they have iron and they have zinc and they have vitamin C and vitamin D, that kind of thing. Most people, like I said, are heavily deficient in vitamin D. So I would definitely do a vitamin D supplement aside from or in addition to a multivitamin. But
Okay.
most of them, like I think it's Nature's Way is one. Yeah, a lot number. Sure. Yeah. So this is one that we've taken before. You guys can kind of see. So it actually gives you, like I said, a lot number. 98% of the companies will not give you a lot number. This is a company called Metagenics. I can't really see time.
Got it.
Metagenics. This is the one that, again, the doctors prescribed me. I don't know if you can purchase it without a physician's recommendation. I don't know. So I know I can give you the information of the doctor that I saw. It's a company called One Life Health and Nutrition up in Palm Beach Gardens. And I don't know if they'll just sell it to anybody. I can kind of research that if you'd like me to. But like I said, that's like, I'll say top shelf because it has an actual lot number and not everybody does. So it's one of those things that the better the habit is, obviously the long-term benefit. The downside to our personalities in America is that if I tell you to take a multivitamin fish oils, you're going to want to know, like, am I going to feel better? Am I going to this, that kind of thing. And vitamins are just like one of those things that it takes a while and it's not like Amazon. So you can't expect to feel a difference the day that you take it. And that's the hard part is most people, they're like, well, I don't feel a difference. And I don't know why I should spend $30 a month on vitamins. I'm like, well, if you know that it's improving your lifestyle in terms of like being healthy, then why wouldn't you do something that you know is going to be healthy? But that, I know that was kind of get any vitamin, but there are better ones. It's just hard to get them. Like I said, in terms of a physician requested one or whatever. So let's talk food and nutrition and all of that kind of thing. No, let's recap real quick. So you guys have to download an app called GroupMe. I'm going to share my screen and kind of show you just some things. So we're going to go here. So GroupMe. It's easier if I just spell it for whatever reason. It's an app. You guys can go to it. It's basically, we're going to put you guys all into a group. That's the icon, is a little blue thing. And we're going to send you guys into groups. This is one of my recommendations that we've never done it this way, so I don't know how it's going to work. So you guys can be my guinea pigs. At the end of the day, most people, again, like I said, most people are going to be successful if they team up with somebody. You guys are not required to have a partner, but some of us like people to lean on, and you might not like to lean on like a massive group of people, like 30 of us. So if you guys have like a little inner circle of people that are doing this together, and just to throw it out there, like Patty, you and Brooke are like both doing it. So like, like have a little inner circle that you guys might have that you guys can like, all right, these are the people I'm going to text, and I still go check in on GroupMe or whatever it might be. So you can kind of layer yourself. And if you have people that like I know Ida, you requested like Ashley Ramjoss is doing it, you know, like you and Ashley have a connection. You guys text each other, you know, that kind of thing. Somebody to lean on a little bit more. GroupMe is going to be what we're going to use for like mass, you know, stuff. This is where I want you guys to post your meal plans and, you know, like your breakfast and everything, because what we're going to do is we're going to share recipes. We're going to kind of share like what we're eating on a daily basis so that you guys can look at not only what we eat, but what you guys each eat and how you get creative things and all that kind of thing. So GroupMe is going to be the primary communication. But like I said, doing it with a larger group, this is going to be the one that things get buried a little bit. And we're going to do our best not to let things get buried, but this is where it's going to get a little bit buried. So you do need to have the GroupMe app. This is a recommendation. I do it and I enjoy it. Would be to download MyFitnessPal. It's an app that you can track all your calories and all that kind of stuff. When you guys are doing the actual weigh-in, it'll tell you how many calories that you guys burn with being sedentary. So what I mean by that is it's going to tell you that you burn 1,500 kcals, which is 1,500 calories being sedentary. So then you add in an exercise routine, you know, you walking around, you walking the dog, all that kind of stuff. That's where a lot of people get the 2,000 calorie a day diet comes from. Most women, and I think it's all women on the call right now or on the Zoom. Most women burn somewhere between 1,400 to 1,600 calories per day, and that's all based off your muscle mass and your weight. So if you add an exercise and like daily habits, it turns into about 2,000 calories per day. So this will give you an actual representation. So the only reason I recommend this, and I don't force it, it's hard to audit, but anybody that ever wanted to save money for anything tracked where they spent money. And they track it to a T, and they have budgets, and they have this, and I'm going to spend this much on phones and bills and food and this and water and cable and electric. And it goes the same for like calories. The only difference is that like we're not spending it, we're intaking it. So it's just like intuitively flip-flopped. So MyFitnessPal is a good resource, and it really helps you learn a lot. And the reason why I say that is like, if you measure 2 tablespoons of olive oil and see the amount of calories in 2 tablespoons of olive oil compared to 2 cups of broccoli, visually 2 cups of broccoli and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Obviously the broccoli is like a massive amount relative to the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but I can guarantee you that the 2 tablespoons of olive oil is probably 5 times the amount of calories. So it's just a really good eye opener if you guys do that one. So that's an app I would recommend, and that you track your food. If you guys are not on SugarWOD, the thing that I talked about earlier, it's free to you guys. So you just type in SugarWOD. You can do it from your phone. It's got an app, and you guys can go through everything. And then we have our own portal that we work through. Again, that will just give you guys your performance tests if you guys want to download that one. And then the basics, I'm not going to put them up there. The more that you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook, the more like we post recipes. We're going to do like live stories. We're going to do all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do my best to be part of some of the live stories, even though I suck at all that stuff, but you guys will get an enjoyment out of it because I'm not good at it. But I know Jamie's already planning recipes and all that kind of stuff. So that's your like engagement where you guys can kind of find us, aside from just the basic text message and all that kind of thing as well. So on to food. Any questions before food and meal plans and all that kind of stuff? I know a lot of you guys have seen food and meal plans and that kind of thing. So I want to kind of get all the other stuff out of the way beforehand. Oh, everybody's screening up right now. Okay, I got nothing. All right, so food, meal plans, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys have done HEWfit before, it's the same one that we've done. There's actually 2 versions of what we've done before. I'm going to show you the easier version. When I say easier, it's just more simplistic. There's one that we used to do about 3 years ago that there's a lot of math, there's a lot of measuring, there's a lot of work involved into it. So we kind of got away from it just because the success rate wasn't as good. It doesn't mean, no, I didn't pay my bill. It doesn't mean that it's better or worse or anything like that at the end of the day. Like I said, this is just a more simplistic one. So we're going to kind of walk through it, that kind of thing. I'll show you how I use it. I'll kind of make recommendations. Again, send a group chat or whatever. You guys are smaller on my screen now, but I can still see everybody. But if you need anything, just let me know ahead of time or just try to flag me down. So the more that you guys, don't worry about the dates or anything like that, the more that you guys actually look at, the more that you guys engage, we do give out weekly prizes and stuff like that. Sometimes it's Tupperware, sometimes it's like drinking more, like a canteen. It's all that kind of stuff. So if you guys engage and we see that you guys are engaging a whole bunch and that you guys are doing good with everything, you're doing performance tests, you're like just crushing it, then your likelihood of getting a prize is better. So that is that. Survival guide. Basically, at the end of the day, again, it goes back to failure to plan is planning to fail. So the more that you guys do it, you know, in terms of like getting all your stuff pre-made and done, the easier that it's going to get. And I highly recommend you guys read through this entire packet. Sadly, reading for most people isn't a common thing anymore. Hopefully that's not you. But if you guys read through this packet, you actually learn a lot, and you know, it'll answer a lot of questions for you. We get a lot of questions where I'm like, did you read the packet? And of course the answer is no. So spend literally 15 minutes and read through this packet. It'll just educate you a lot on different things. Like, I know this sounds weird, but like, why can't I poop? And, you know, or, you know, like just weird things. You guys all have a lot of cats, don't you? Restaurants, we're going to go over that kind of thing in a little bit. Again, creating goals. My recommendation is to do a body goal, a gym goal, and a lifestyle goal. So body would be like losing inches or body fat percentage. Gym would be like getting my first pull-up. And then lifestyle would be getting 8 hours of sleep or drinking a gallon of water every single day, reading for 10 minutes a day, like whatever it might be. So there's goals in there for you. This is the actual meal plan. You guys probably all have gotten this if you've never like followed it along before. I have the female version up right now. The biggest thing with it is recognizing that you guys should be eating 3 meals per day, and then having protein shakes. So typically we do like a flash sale at the gym for protein shakes. What we're going to do for all of HEWfit is that if you guys are buying protein during the next 4 weeks, we're going to do it at a 20% discount, right around that. So they're typically 42 for the bags in the gym. We're going to do them for 35. And we'll just do that for all the 4 weeks. So $35 for your protein. Most women especially undereat protein, and that's why we do it as part of like to make sure that you guys are getting enough protein in. And number 2 is that I know you guys have all heard this and nobody ever believes it, at least for the most part, is that muscle burns fat. And if you don't get enough protein in, then you're basically, we're breaking down our muscle and then not giving it the building blocks to rebuild itself. So I'm breaking down my muscle. I'm not giving it the proper nutrients to rebuild itself. So now I have less muscle in my body. So my metabolism slows down. So now I burn less calories per day. So that's part of why we do the 2 protein shakes per day, so that you guys make sure that you guys are actually getting as much protein in as you should be. Okay. I'll breeze through this just because it's relatively self-explanatory. But you guys, I don't know how much you guys can see my cursor or not, but you guys have the breakfast, so blue, green, and orange. You have lunch, which is blue, green, and orange. And then you have dinner, which is blue, green, and yellow. So all it is taking one of those, 1 protein, 1 carb, 1 veggie for breakfast, 1 protein, 1 carb, 1 veggie for lunch, and then 1 protein, 1 fat, and 1 veggie for breakfast. The thing that I can tell you more than anything, and I stress it every single HEWfit, and nobody ever does it, is eat more vegetables than you eat anything else in your entire life. And that's the easiest thing that I can try to tell you. I am not opposed to people being vegan. It's not a lifestyle that I that I enjoy, but most people don't eat enough vegetables. So if you can eat more vegetables, it will only make your life easier in terms of weight loss and this and that, whatever it is. Okay. I'll kind of go through protein is, I would say, moderate to high in calories, meaning that like having 6 ounces of chicken breast is like 240 calories or something like that off the top of my head. So it is a moderate caloric intake. So it's one of those things that we should measure because it's got a lot of calories relative to the amount that you're actually eating. Carbs, same exact thing. If you go for the orange carbs, so these are starchy carbs, same kind of thing. Like a half a cup of cooked rice is, I want to say, 130 calories, depending on the rice and that kind of thing. So it's something that can add up quickly, which is why we should be measuring it. Fat is super, super dense in calories. So when we're talking like a tablespoon of olive oil, that's over 200 calories. So we look at protein, it's moderate. We look at carbs, starchy carbs, it's moderate. We look at fat, it's super, super high in calories. And then you look at vegetables, and 1 cup of broccoli is 30 calories. So I could have a cup of chicken and be at 250 calories, or a cup of broccoli and be at 30 calories. And then the nutrients and all of the vitamins and all that kind of stuff that actually come with the broccoli are super beneficial and will impact you much better. So just looking at macronutrients, these are considered your macronutrients. Protein and carbs, calories add up fast, so we can overeat them quickly. Fat, we can super overeat in terms of like, if I've got a bag of cashews sitting next to my desk while I'm at work, I can overeat the heck out of them. And vegetables, for the most part, you're never going to overeat vegetables. It's just part of the game. So that's in terms of like your portions and all that kind of stuff. So it gives you, a sample at the bottom in terms of like, this could be an actual meal plan, egg whites, spinach, apple, all that kind of thing. At the end of the day, the best thing for you to do is always eat enough vegetables, and then the other stuff you'll fill your calories with easily based off of that. Any questions on that? I didn't really go into a whole lot of detail, but I know most of you guys have seen it, so I don't want to beat a dead horse and make you guys as bored as some of you guys look. So this is grocery list for you. Oh, let's do that real quick. So where am I going to find all that stuff? If you guys are not in the HEWfit game already, then you guys have to try to request it. I tried to put all of you guys in this afternoon. If I missed you, then just request it, and then I'll put you on there, because if we're not friends, sad. And I can't add you to it because we're not friends. Okay, so this is the HEWfit Game Deerfield Beach. Yes, it's going to have all the old stuff in it, but if you come over to Files on the side of it, you can do it on your phone as well. It'll have all of your meal plans as well. There's a vegetarian one, all that kind of stuff. The one that we're reviewing right now is the HEWfit Jan 2019 final email. So, little sidetrack. So that's where you guys are going to find that file if you guys need it, if you don't already have it. This is a grocery list. So my recommendation is don't get fancy with food. Just eat the same thing every single day, at least 1 week at a time. So eat the same lunch and dinner, or I like to eat the same breakfast and lunch virtually every single day. So try to eat the same thing consistently, at least for breakfast and lunch most days. And then maybe if you have time, switch up dinner. But again, simplicity is your best friend when it comes to meal prepping and all that kind of stuff. I love to make like 6 to 8 cups of rice and just have it in a thing of Tupperware, and then pull out a cup of rice, because I get more rice than you guys. I'm sorry. Pull out a cup of rice and, put chicken and vegetables on top of that, and it just makes life way easier. The best part about all of these things, or at least some of these things, is protein. If you guys are up for it, you can buy all of it in bulk and just put it in the freezer, so you don't have to grocery shop for protein on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Fat, most of this, aside from like avocado, you can buy this in bulk and just leave it in the cupboard and all that kind of stuff. Starchy carbs, buy it in bulk, leave it in the cupboard, that kind of thing. The only thing that you really have to do in terms of like weekly food is buying vegetables. If you look on here, it says don't eat peas, carrots, corn, squash, zucchini, eggplant, pumpkin, beets, all that kind of thing. We paid a nutritionist to come in and do that. She was trying to find the highest quality stuff that that we could get for people. If you eat vegetables, I don't care if it's carrots and zucchini, like just eat vegetables. So disregard the no peas, carrots, corn, squash, zucchini, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Just eat vegetables and my life will be easy and happier, and yours will too. So any questions on like, how do I build a meal plan? How do I build a grocery list, or any of that kind of thing? I'm scrolling because I can't see you guys all.
No, I'm good.
And some of you don't want me to see your face, which makes me a little sad, but.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you know how like last time I did it, a lot of people were doing that green drink, like the powder you can buy from like vitamin shops, like in the morning for their vegetables. Is
Yep.
that like good or bad? Or you might as well just eat regular vegetables? Or just what vegetables do you eat in the morning? Like a cup of, like, I don't like.
Well, I mean, everybody's different. For me personally, I'm not a huge morning vegetable person. A lot of people, when I do vegetables in the morning, a lot of times it's with my eggs, and I'll do like spinach and peppers and onions, which is like my go-to if I'm going to do that. The green drink is just it's an easy substitute for people that hate vegetables at the end of the day. Eating vegetables is better for you than drinking a green drink. But if me getting you to intake some sort of greens at 8 o'clock in the morning is you just chugging a green drink, then that's better than nothing.
Okay.
Again, at the end of the day, it's like there's so many nutrients and like vitamins and nutrients and minerals in vegetables. So people that have trouble eating them, if I can at least get them to drink that drink, I'm winning a small battle, and it helps them win the war. So they're not that great tasting. I just chug them, and it is what it is. So, but good question. If you need like a link to the green drink or anything like that, or you have any questions, I just go on Amazon and hit Super Greens or I think it's called Super Greens. And it's like a huge wheatgrass blend that you just mix with water. Like I said, it's not the greatest tasting, but it's a good substitute. Anybody else? At least not for now. Taylor, you're getting swarmed by animals. Okay, this is just a huge recipe book. There's certain things that people love about it. It's all color coded, blue, green, orange, blue, green, yellow, yada, yada, yada. You literally have a bunch of different stuff that you guys can make. I'll just kind of highlight some of the ones that are pretty popular. Egg white omelet, that's pretty popular. Turkey bake, a lot of people make these little muffins, and it's just easy on the go. I can get my stuff in. Overnight oats, I eat overnight oats all the time, and I really enjoy them. So you guys can do overnight oats. It's pretty simple. You can do some sort of almond milk as well. And I don't really count that as fat because it's such a light version of it. Egg white bakes, super good. Let's see, never made cauliflower breakfast pizza. Protein pancakes. A lot of people made these last time and they actually enjoyed them. Turkey tacos, any of this kind of stuff. It's just easy, super good stuff. Sweet potato with meat, side salads, loaded baked potatoes. What else? I don't think. We just kind of roast vegetables all the time. We don't make all the stuff. Stuffed peppers, really good. I've done these before. But that's all just foods, give you ideas, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, the easier you make it, the easier it gets. And then lastly, this is actually the stuff where I said beforehand, if you read this section, it will actually educate you, which I recommend, in terms of like all of the stuff in terms of like, what type of fruit should I have? Is watermelon as good as berries? And then it kind of goes into some of the reasons why. So meal prepping, again, we want you guys to meal prep. It makes life way easier. I love that step 3 is just turn on music so that you can start to jam out and actually like start to make food. If you do this properly, it takes you about an hour. And the more that you do it, the easier it gets and the faster you get about it. Cooking big bowls of rice and all that kind of stuff. Restaurants, you guys are going to have to eat out over the course of the next 4 weeks. It's kind of inevitable. So what we always recommend is skipping your fat is one of the biggest things, because they're going to cook with fat that they're not going to tell you about. So trying to skip your fat. And then I always try to like overdo it. So I always ask for double veggies because I know that some of the other stuff that I'm going to eat isn't going to be as good. Make sure that you guys still get a carb in there, but as much as you can, try to get it steamed or whatever it might be. Parties and stuff like that, especially because like with COVID and everything, what if I go over to a friend's house? Biggest thing that I recommend is bring one of our go-tos when we go to barbecues is bringing shish kebabs. Everybody thinks that you're amazing because you brought shish kebabs and they're grilled and they're amazing. And there's vegetables and meat, and then you can just pick like some sort of basic carb that you can do with them. Like it could be potatoes on the thing, whatever it might be. Traveling, biggest thing, again, rule number 1, plan in advance. You can do protein shakes. You guys can do Quest bars. If you're going to have a protein bar, do a Quest bar. These ones, Quest bars. Rice cakes aren't bad if you put a little peanut butter on top of them, that kind of thing. Oats, tuna packets. Some of the tuna packets are actually really good. And then some like we get microwavable rice and quinoa blends sometimes that are actually really good as well. So there's that. Other frequently asked questions. Again, vegetables are your friend. Same exact thing. Like it's saying, like vegetables, it's a ton of volume, but it's not that calorically dense. So if you're going to do anything, eat vegetables in terms of like a go-to. If you can't poop, then eat more vegetables. It'll help you, especially like broccoli and stuff, fiber and that kind of thing. I think that is it. But again, read all that kind of stuff. I know it's like goofy and cartoonish and all that kind of stuff, but and if there's any bulkers out there, we have actually had people do this that are like trying to gain weight. It sounds good, but it's actually really a pain in the butt. You have to do super shakes, which is like 2 scoops of protein, whole milk. You actually have to put sugar in your shake, 2 whole bananas, a handful of spinach, 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. And if you get tired of that, then you have to add peanut butter sandwiches and all kinds of pasta and other things. But that's for people that are like 105 pounds and want to gain weight. So for most of us, we don't want that. Are there any questions about the food? What's Rome eating? Ramen? Okay. I think that's it. I told Haley I was going to try to finish it in an hour, and I don't know if I did it or not because I haven't looked at the clock. But super basic recap on my end. And if you guys have questions, please, please, please dial in, because if you have a question, then probably somebody else does. But you have to weigh in by Monday. You guys need to go grocery shopping this weekend, so make sure that you guys look at the food list. You guys plan a meal, that kind of thing. You guys get kudo points if you guys post your meal plans and all that kind of stuff by the end of the weekend. You guys should actually do it. Maybe we'll give you like a prize or something on Monday if you guys actually post your meals. But go grocery shopping this weekend. Make sure you guys have the meal plan. If you guys have questions about any of the meal plan, let me know. I'm going to post my meal plan probably Friday or Saturday. It's probably not going to be in my handwriting. It's going to be in Haley's. It's going to look way nicer. So weigh in by Monday. Make sure you have your food and your stuff and your life put together for Monday, because that's when we're starting. You guys need to run a mile on Monday. Download those apps. Again, if you would like to, I recommend it just because it helps you, especially the MyFitnessPal. If you track your food, it's like a game changer in terms of recognizing where all your calories come from. Just like if you budget and recognize where your money goes, it's the same kind of thing, just from an intake version instead. And I think that's it. Nothing? Anybody?
I'm good.
Good? Okay.
Good for now.
All good here. I think I know the answer, but what about like the Primal Kitchen? Like sometimes I put their teriyaki sauce on my chicken and vegetables or anything like that.
Okay, so we can kind of do a little brief synopsis on like how to make food taste better and that kind of thing. Basic answer, if that's the worst thing that you're eating, then 100% you should use it. But it has to be something that you guys kind of use in, I hate to say moderation, but it's one of those things that if that's the worst thing that you're doing in a day, then you're fine. So we do our basic like seasoning. I do salt, pepper. Well, Haley does salt, pepper, and then garlic salt for the most part. So that's her, like that's what we typically kind of season all our vegetables with. We do use some of the seasoning or the dressings, like the Primal Kitchen dressings. I know there's like an avocado ranch one that we use quite often. I think that's really the only one that we use quite often. If you guys are doing like ketchup and mustard and that kind of thing, just make sure there's no sugar added.
Primal Kitchen has a ketchup.
Primal Kitchen has ketchup and mustard and all that kind of stuff. And it's, at the end of the day, again, it goes back to your gut health and eating things that don't have chemicals and a bunch of additives that we don't really know what we're eating. And that's kind of like the basics of it, like making sure your gut health is good by not ingesting a bunch of chemicals and yada, yada, yada. So season away, but make sure that you just look at the ingredient label. Sadly, and everybody looks at the, I don't know what the difference is, the nutrient label? Yeah, the nutrient label. Everybody looks at the nutrient label. So like if I look at Diet Coke, it's like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I can have this. But if you look at the ingredient label, there's a bunch of hydroxychloroquine, like stuff you can't pronounce. So my general rule is if you can't pronounce one of the ingredients, then you don't really know what it is and you're putting chemicals into your body. And that's one good thing that Primal Kitchen does is they use natural ingredients as much as they can. So hydration is super key. So make sure that you guys are drinking a lot of water. Electrolytes help out a lot. A lot of people drink a lot of water, but they don't have any electrolytes in the water. And what that does is it just puts water through your body. It doesn't let your body absorb the water as much, at least the nutrients from it. What was that show with the water thing?
The Zac Efron one.
Something Earth. So there's a really cool
Down to Earth.
Down to Earth. There's a really cool Netflix series called Down to Earth that kind of just goes back into different villages and they try to like study people that live a long time.
It's with Zac Efron. You should definitely watch it. He's good to look at.
Agreed.
There's that.
Me, Ruth, I agree with Haley.
It's a really cool documentary that kind of goes through like different cultures around the world and like sees how they live and all that kind of thing. There's one episode specifically about water that basically there is a water connoisseur now. What's a
Somali.
wine? Yeah, a water sommelier. Never knew that was a thing. And they kind of go through like the history of like water and all that kind of thing. And a lot of us are lacking minerals because we drink filtered water, which we've been taught to think that filtered water is actually healthier than non-filtered water. But a lot of times, purified and filtered water gives you less nutrients. So like you're lacking in iron and zinc and certain things. So it's a really, really cool thing. So we've gotten the habit of trying to drink at least 1 Fiji water per day, like 1.5 liters of Fiji water. It's fancy, I know. I'm a pretty fancy guy. So make sure that you guys hydrate. And again, some of that stuff helps you with the electrolytes so that you can actually absorb it a little bit better than just chugging a bunch of filtered water and then peeing all day long and it being annoying.
How do you feel about alkaline water?
Having alkaline water is good for it's like good for gut health and stuff like that, because if you have too acidic of water, then it's something that like the acidity and all that kind of stuff can, obviously there's heartburn and there's, indigestion and all that kind of stuff. So having pH'd water helps your gut just process it a little bit more easily.
All right.
You can fire away at questions. I'm good. Some stuff I might make up, but it sounds pretty damn realistic when I say it. Okay. Go ahead.
So where was that? What you was looking at when you was looking at all the meals, the recipes? What?
That's on our Facebook group. So if you aren't on our Facebook group,
I'm not on Facebook.
Okay. If you're not on Facebook, then
I can email it to her if she wants.
Okay. That's good.
So,
Why don't you can drop your email address in the chat and I can email it to you if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So just hit chat and then put it to everybody and type in your email. And then Michelle, I appreciate you and we love you forever, bestie.
I know.
I have a question. Are we allowed to drink Crystal Light? Like just put a little bit if you have like like you really want a little bit. Just it says it was probably not good. Yeah, it's probably not good. 10 calories, 0 sugar, potassium.
It's one of those things. If that's the worst thing that you're having, then yes. But it's at the same time, you already kind of answered your own question saying that it's not good. the little Mio
Okay.
things where you have the drops and stuff like that. I don't drink a lot of it. I got out of the habit of drinking a lot of sparkling, like flavored water, like LaCroix and all that kind of thing. That's an easy substitute, but even that I try to avoid just because apparently there was a lawsuit saying that there was termite killer in LaCroix in one of the ingredients. So that's something you can.
Okay.
So this is one thing is I just want you guys to think about, and then we'll wrap it up unless there's other questions. I don't mind answering questions. If you guys cheat, we used to, assertive a-hole Brian used to make you guys do like forced penalties if you guys cheat. All I'm asking you guys to do is like, if you guys cheat, hold yourself accountable and do some sort of extracurricular because you know that you ate or drank more than you should have. So what I mean by that, I would say that a good general basis is that you guys should be burning somewhere between 200 to 300 calories if you guys cheat. And what I mean by that is if you cheat, just be like, all right, I had a couple glasses of wine. I know I shouldn't have. Go run 2 to 3 miles, or get on a rower and in the gym and do an extra 100 to 150 calories, or do 100 burpees, or do something. Like it's one of those things that if you can build a lifestyle where you're like, you know what, I do feel like having some drinks tonight, and I have family in town, whatever it is, like that's fine. I'm not trying to say you not have a lifestyle, but have it one of those ones where I'm like, all right, like I spent a bunch of money this weekend. Now I need to save, because I can't do that all the time. Otherwise I just run out of money. And I use money because it's just a super easy analogy for most people. Most people, they're like, oh, I got to save for this weekend because I'm going to go out and I'm going to drink. I'm going to go out of town. I'm going to do this. But we don't think the same way in terms of like what we eat, to where like, if you are going to, enjoy yourself and all that kind of stuff, like don't beat yourself up for it. But what you guys should be doing is like, all right, Monday, I didn't do as good as I should have this weekend. I'm going to do some extra. I'm going to do 100 burpees, or I'm going to go run 2 or 3 miles on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, just to kind of like, feel better about myself. And again, if you're hard on yourself and you stress yourself out, you're going to be less successful. If you're just realistic and understanding that you're a human being and that you kind of like, counteract it with, a positive. So if there was a negative and you counteract it and like you're happy with that, then that's fine. But I encourage you guys, like if you're going to cheat and if you know it's going to happen, then try to do some extra or try to do something to counteract it, so that it's not like you don't just roll it in and get discouraged and then just say F it and then just completely stop.
So 2 to 3 glasses of Cabernet is cheating?
I'm sorry, you broke up beforehand.
2 to 3 glasses of Cabernet is cheating?
You mean, yes.
Okay.
Again, at the end of the day, it's like, it's your motivation level. So if you have 2 or 3 glasses of Cabernet per week, I would say that that's not the most terrible lifestyle. If you have 2 to 3 glasses per night, then that's
per week.
You're going to lose progress in that point.
Yeah. Per week.
So, again, it all depends on like what you're looking for out of the entire thing. If you're looking to lose, like 5 to 7 pounds and a couple % of body fat, then like you gotta kick the Cabernet for a little bit, and know that like, okay, cool. It's just, it's going to be 2, maybe 3 weeks, and, go back and have 1 or 2 glasses. And like, it's just, it's lifestyle. So you sacrifice for a little bit. It's like saving for a vacation. If you're going to save for a vacation, you start saving a month or 2 in advance for a lot of us. And this is like, all right, I want to get to a good spot with my body, and then I'll go have a couple glasses of Chardonnay, whatever it is, and Cabernet, and it is what it is. So like I said, I use saving as part of the best analogy that I can, because most of us know how to save money, we just don't know how to save calories.
Gotcha. You can do that.
Okay, questions? Everybody knows their homework. All right, I think this is a record. I'm in an hour and 4 minutes, at least on my clock. So I hope you guys enjoy your evenings. I will see you guys tomorrow. Fun bodyweight workout tomorrow in the gym if you guys are in the gym right now. So make sure you guys are here for that. And then if you're going to do like a last 2 raw or whatever it is, go do a last 2 raw on Friday night and then be ready to weigh in on Saturday and or Monday. And then we'll get you guys rolling and we'll have a good time. So questions, ask us, and then I'll post this in the page. So if you guys didn't see it or have any questions or want to rewatch it because you love listening to my voice, then it's there. So, all right, all. You enjoy your evening. Happy Baby Friday, and I hope you guys had a good week, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Haley. Bye.